Pricks, how should I study English to prepare myself to travel abroad? Hey student, I am Teacher Pricks and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Thank you so much for watching this video, but now let's talk about the good stuff. You are going to travel abroad. How should you prepare yourself? Now guys, there are many things I could talk about, but for the purpose of this lesson, I'm going to focus on two basic situations and what you should do if that's your case. The first one is for vacation purposes, tourism. You're going to have a good time. That's awesome. And the second situation is for academic purposes. You are going to study. That's why you're going there. And when I say study, I'm not necessarily talking about studying English, but maybe you're going to get a master's degree, or you want to study, go to university in another country, or you want to do like a study, a scientific research, you name it, academic purposes. So how should you prepare yourself? Of course that in my opinion, going on a vacation for vacation purposes is much easier, okay? Many students get very stressed about how to prepare themselves for vacation situations. What do they do if they go to a shopping mall, to a restaurant, or to the drugstore to buy medicine, or to talk to the immigration officer? But what I like telling my students in my program, or students who know me, who have had classes with me, is to keep it simple, keep it short, and don't lie. That's awesome. Basically, guys, when you're traveling abroad, one thing that I always like telling my students is keep conversations short as much as possible. So if you're going to a restaurant, you don't need to complicate the conversation, okay? Your students get very stressed about remembering all the complete phrases and questions when they are ordering food, when in reality that doesn't really happen. So keep it short. Speak slowly so that they understand you, and if you don't understand them, always ask them to repeat. They will be more than happy to do so, okay? Prepare personal information. So who you are, name, last name, in some cases, depending on what you do, phone number, address. These are things you need to know immediately. How to say. Numbers. You need to know numbers, because if you're going on a vacation, you are probably going to spend some money, have a good time. So get ready to pay attention to the numbers being said, okay? And knowing how to pronounce the numbers correctly, giving your personal information correctly. And that includes emails, okay? Sometimes the students don't know how to inform their emails. So all these basic conversations, most of the time, you're not going to talk on the phone, okay? It is very rare. You may talk on the phone when you are at a hotel if you need something specific, but in that scenario, let's say you don't know how to say this thing in English, you would have time to look it up before you call the receptionist and ask for it. So these are situations that are easier to be managed, okay? Now, when you're going through immigration, for example, this is something students are so worried about. My main advice is prepare personal information. Why you're going, where you're going, how long you're staying, how much money you have, numbers again. Be very honest about your answers. And remember, what is the purpose of your visit? If you're going there on a vacation, you're going there on a vacation to travel, okay? If you want to work, you need a different visa, okay? So always keep that in mind. For students who worry about getting sick, having allergy reactions, I always recommend searching specific keywords to describe health conditions you have. It may be a good idea. I remember when I was an au pair, my first host family was half American and half Asian, and they really liked shrimp. So as soon as I got there, I told them, I'm allergic to shrimp. So this was a very important piece of information. They knew I was allergic to shrimp. And I'm allergic to cats. You know, cat fur, it really makes me sneeze like crazy. So they knew it in advance. So if you have some kind of health condition, if there is a medication you always need to bring with you, these are important pieces of information, personal information you need to know. So take the time to prepare for that. If you're a mother or a father and your child has a kind of condition, you need to know how to describe that. Imagine your child is running around Disney and they grab like a snack they weren't supposed to, and they eat something and they have an allergic reaction. You need to be able to communicate with the people you're buying from if there is a food restriction, if there's something going on. So this is the preparation that I mean, documentation. If your car has a problem, you have a phone number to call. This is not necessarily connected with the English language, but the preparation you have in advance. Even if you were traveling, let's say I travel to the north of Brazil, which is a little far from me, I would need to prepare myself as well. Documents, any restrictions, I would need to be careful because I know the things I need to be careful about. I know the personal information that I need to remember. So there you have it. So the conversations when you're traveling as a tourist are very short and objective. You may not know specific words. That's why it's so important to prepare for that. And I have created a complete and objective program that is going to teach you conversations when you travel on vacation. I like to call it the survival travel English. Because you're going to survive. You will communicate, say what you need, understand what you need, and keep having fun. Because that's the purpose of your vacation. If you're traveling abroad, to have fun, to go on vacation. If you want more information, there is a link here and in the description of this video on how you can get this program, which I totally recommend for students who want to travel abroad and they want something objective to help them build up the English and the confidence to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime abroad. Now, the second scenario is the academic. This is the one students need to do a little bit more work. And if your intention is to go to the United States or to Canada or to England, you need to do a lot of preparation before you get there. Simply speaking English will not be enough in most universities. You will be required to take an international certification, TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge. You will need to do a test in English. And these tests are not so easy, are not so simple. What I recommend my students to do is to spend at least 6 months studying and preparing for this particular test. Oh, but teacher, 6 months? Minimal, it depends on your English level. If you're not familiar with the type of test, how to answer these questions, if you don't read a lot in English, then it'll be a little bit challenging. Because, for example, in the listening part on TOEFL, you may understand what you hear, but you may not understand how to answer the question. So it's much more about comprehension. Or in the reading part, there will be some words you have never seen before. So that's why it is important to prepare. And I don't like to prepare in a rush, like, oh my God, let's do this fast. But I think a healthy amount of time, a minimal amount of time would be 6 months, okay? You would need to learn the required score, okay? So let's say I'm going to Canada to University X. I need to know the certifications they require. So is it TOEFL? Is it IELTS? Or can I choose, okay? Or can I do Cambridge, okay? And they score. Is it 100? Is it 109? Is it 80? Is it 70? So what is the score? Is it 6, 6.5 if it's IELTS? So you need to know that before, wow, way before, so that you can take the time to prepare. And if that's your case, what I always tell my students who study with me for preparation is you need to take as many practice tests as possible. The key to passing any certificate is to practice the style, to condition your brain to sit down and take the test. because they are a little bit tiring and the subjects are a little boring. It's not what I like teaching my students. Have fun with the language, anywhere, anytime, have a good time, connect with your life. No, it's an exam to test your ability to write, read, and speak in English. So it is quite formal in the sense of it's for academic purposes. So you need to prepare yourself. And finally, if you're going to sit for this exam, whether it is IELTS, Cambridge, or TOEFL, you need to learn how to improvise when you're speaking. I have had many excellent students, good students, who could speak really well, but when they had to do these speaking exercises, they got stuck. Why? Because they couldn't improvise. Because the questions in the speaking parts are not really nice, they're not always interesting, some of them are really boring. So it was hard for some students to think of what to say. That's when I told them, well, you need to learn the art of improvising, creating a crazy story in your head. So if you're going to sit for this exam in the near future, I strongly recommend you practice like 10 to 15 minutes every day answering random questions. Okay? And record yourself answering the craziest questions to work on your ability to improvise, create a crazy story. Okay? I do this all the time. I'm always creating crazy conversations in my head, talking about different subjects, because I know that if I need to do a test like that, improvising is key. Okay? And the more you do that, if you're preparing yourself to sit for Cambridge or TOEFL or IELTS, the easier it'll be for you to answer the speaking test questions, regardless of the exam you take. Of course, then when you start studying for Cambridge or for TOEFL or for IELTS, you will see the kinds of questions they ask. So I recommend that in this practice, this 10-15 minute solo practice, you include similar questions, the same style of questions. That will help you a lot. And if you're feeling a little lost and you have no idea what to study right now, maybe you need some kind of recommendation, a kind of map to guide you, I also have a study cycle plan. Why do I call it cycle? Because it's a 21-day cycle plan that after you finish, you can replicate and replicate and replicate and keep repeating it. And I teach you how to do it. Basically, it's a plan combining a PDF file, the material, and video lessons to help you organize your study routine so that you can achieve your listening, speaking, writing, reading, and vocabulary goals. And finally, talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. The link will also be in the description of this video. I hope this video was useful to you. Make sure to subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye!